Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the CFL Fans in the USA podcast. Rick Crabb here as always, and also as always, joining me, the moderator of the CFL Fans in the USA Facebook group, Mr. Phil Hall. Phil, how was your weekend? I know it's got to be better than it was for both of our respective teams, man.
Oh, man, the defense showed up, but, honestly, it's rivalry week. It's all water under the bridge, and like I say, I'm ready for Saturday night, Sorry, Argonauts fans. Sorry, my wife. And I see a lot of hungry men ready to win, so I'm with them.
Hey, there's no need to be sorry, because, I don't know, I can see, your voice, Oscar Wee Wing in the litter box again, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. I can't wait for that topic.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of topics, I want to thank everybody who has been listening to the show on YouTube and continuing to follow us on the Facebook group, and new listeners and new joiners, new followers, new whatever you want to call it for both groups. One thing we want to encourage you folks to do is definitely ask us questions, either comments on the video or on the Facebook group. We had one gentleman who asked us a question in the Facebook group, and I'd like to address this, Phil. This was a topic that was addressed by Mr. Greg, and I apologize if I butcher your name. Forney, Forne, looks like apostrophe Y. I'm not sure what that's about, but hey, I have a last name that I got made fun of in school all my life, so I can't be one to criticize. Anyway, he asked us about the new rules coming up. He asked how we thought, whether we thought it was a positive or a negative, how it'll affect the league in the future. Now, Bill, as I mentioned, we addressed this in the very first episode, but this is a topic where it's bringing up again because I have a feeling next year it's going to be brought up, and years to come it's going to be brought up a few times. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna bring up a lot of it, and I will tell you the reason why. The special teams this season is the reason why that some of the rules I don't like. So.
Oh, no doubt, especially with the Rouge. I hate the Rouge rule as it is. The field dimensions change. I can kind of understand about the end zones because I think that's more to accommodate the smaller stadiums like BMO in Toronto and the prison in Montreal. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't notice until like the second or third Alouettes game, Bill. It's like you took it looked like prison. The Alouettes actually come out of a big bird cage. So literally they come out from behind bars to play football against our opponents.
They should call it the Prisoner Azkaban or something,
Yeah.
It's the Hogwarts prison,
Yeah, the Birdman of Molson or something. I don't know, but
yeah, definitely, Yeah, like I say about like the rules changes of it. And thank you for the question, Greg. The reason why I say about this is like look at the special teams alone this season alone. We had a bunch of run-back touchdowns. It's a side and play, and you're going to put the goalposts back. Yes, there's some pros and cons to this, but it's going to eliminate the most exciting part of the game is a run-back 100-yard touchdown. And people like Trey Patel, and Tyreek McAllister, they're losing jobs because you missed a field goal. They ain't gonna run it back. There's no ruse no more and stuff like that. It took an element of the game. You know,
Trying to see, and the fact that they're going to be shortening the end zones. Granted, they're and Commissioner Johnson's still arguing. Well, it's still going to be deeper than the NFL, but no. I mean, how many touchdowns have we seen this year, just this season, where they're basically throwing, moon balls all the way into the corner of what the end zones look like now? I mean, you're going to be taking points off the board, even though for some reason Commissioner Johnson's arguing that you're going to be adding points and maybe higher scoring, which I don't know. I call shenanigans on that, my friend.
I think they're going to lose a lot of points there because you're going to see the true test of the field goaler, the kicker. He had to make a regular field goal, and if he missed it, it's going to go out of bounds. It'll eliminate the ruse. It'll eliminate the chance to run it back. It's just eliminate a lot of things, and it's a shorter. Yes, it's 100-yard field. Yes, it's 100. They moved it 110 yards, but guess what? You just eliminate the excitement of that game of CFL is behind the chance of running it back a touchdown, and I can name so many games this season that changed the game, that changed the momentum in a good way. You know,
right?
Like look at Winnipeg. Look at Winnipeg last game. They was in a dogfight with Toronto, and that touchdown, that specialty touchdown, changed the game and probably sealed the deal.
I think it was the difference of the game. Yeah. That and that boneheaded play afterwards, where the guy in the end zone for Toronto fumbled it and wound up giving Winnipeg a rouge anyway. So it's but I agree. It does take a lot of offense out, and it takes a lot of excitement out, and a lot of traditional strategy that the CFL is used to. So.
Yeah. Now here's my question to you. You think be more so they say they're gonna still have a ruse, right? Like say for example they missed the field goal and it go out of bounds. They still get the ruse point, or it ain't gonna count? That's my question.
I think it's not going to count. I think the only way you get the ruse right now is if someone basically is either tackled in the end zone or just decides to kneel down to start at the 40-yard line. So, I think that's the only way you get the ruse now. So, and that came into play early on in the Hamilton game with, who was against Saskatchewan. I mean, that's the first time it's like you had a quarter ending at 1-1. And it's like, wait a minute, the World Cup is out of the Canadian stadiums now. What's going on here?
1-1, and I honestly think Hamilton had nothing but ruse in that game. I think they had one field goal and 3 ruses.
Well, they got their 7 points from that. Not even one touchdown. That was crazy. But getting to Greg's question, we think it's going to impact it negatively. And it's one thing to think that, okay, maybe you'll increase scoring or whatever, which I disagree with. I still don't understand his argument as far as how it's going to make the league more money. I really don't understand that. I mean, maybe he thinks people will get more excited because it has rules closer to the NFL and people will embrace it more, but I don't know. I think I see it turning off some fans, and a lot of the fans that are into it now, Phil, it's an older demographic up there. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's the younger population, is a lot of them being immigrants, like soccer and basketball, and of course the Blue Jays are Team Canada, so anybody who likes baseball throughout Canada is going to be a Blue Jays fan pretty much, unless they want to cheer. I mean, they can cheer for another team in the U.S., I guess, but I mean, that's the only major league team in Canada for baseball. So it's like.
And I feel like the diehard fans of CFL is like, even though I had to battle this in our page about, they're not going to watch it, and And I have a couple people say, "Oh, don't support this," and I'm like, "No, I'm still gonna support it because it's not a. I hate the rules, but I respect the players and the coaches, and I respect the people who put their blood, sweat, and tears in the CFL, and it's not their fault. It's the owners and whoever agree on these new rules.
And
I personally think I really believe they're trying to scope out American teams, American cities. That's why they're doing this.
right. And one reason I think I'll watch it too is it still bridges the gap between the UFL and the NFL. You know, you have all those months, even though, okay, yeah, you could say baseball and down south and be NASCAR or whatever, but, and I still watch baseball, but I'm just saying, you know, as far as, I know, now you kind of got to have a situation where you can watch football year round, so, you know.
Yeah, and next year, and not only that, people forget about this. And Canadians are excited about this, but I'm feeling a little leery about this. They are moving up the games. They're moving up the dates of the games, and now we're going to have a CFL UFL competition in the first week of May. You know, and like that's going to be crazy. Like it's going to have. You're going to have UFL and CFL at the same time. And I think this is the reason why they want to do this. It's kind of like Monday Night Wars of wrestling, you know? Like, who's going to have the better ratings, you know?
And I think that's a mistake. And I think I mentioned in another episode, I was watching a YouTube channel, which is really just an extension of Saskatchewan Rough Riders Radio. It's like one of their basically sports talk segments. They were saying that if they start the season in May, they're kind of upset about it because May in Regina is still cold sometimes. They still have winter weather. I mean, a lot of people up here think it's May, and then especially people who watched the game this past weekend saw that it was 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 degrees Celsius. You know, where they were roasting, and it's kind of like, man. I mean, I'm not the biggest advocate of, like, climate change and all that, but I don't know. Seeing that game could be an argument for it, Phil. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like the Yukon having, like, a hot summer game. I don't know, man. It's
yeah. And it's like it do get cold up there. And I remember the preseason game this year, like I say, the first game of preseason in Saskatchewan and Calgary, it was snowing. It was insane. You know, like it was snowing in Florida. It was cold and stuff like that. And like for an American consumer, I know they got the zone and that's cool and all. This is the American aspect. Who like football in America? What's they gonna watch first, UFL or CFL? I think they're gonna watch UFL at that time, and that's a big battle to deal with personally.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the. I guess it depends where in the UFL. I mean, maybe like some cities like St. Louis and DC probably still be UFL, but other places, I don't know. I'd watch both. I mean, right now it's like, yes, I'm watching the CFL, and I was watching the UFL when they were playing, and then I'm also watching these two European leagues on YouTube. I mean, so.
Now here's a question I'm going to throw out to you, and I'm surprised no one asked this question. Do you believe there's going to be a merger down the road?
Never say never. I personally don't. I don't know. They've been talking about doing that for a while. Unless you get, like, some crazy billionaire type. You get, like, I mean, because Vince McMahon wanted to do that at one time, or, I mean, Trump's in the White House now, but I expect somebody like that to, you know, want to, who's not just a billionaire, but just, he's like a crazy, I don't know, ambitious billionaire, you know, somebody like that. That's the only way I can see doing it. The only other way, too, is if the CFL goes bankrupt. which could happen. You know, I mean, they were worried about some of these teams. I mean, especially some of the West teams and all. You know, it's like even though they have the fan support, but they might not have the corporate support. I mean, I mean, Saskatchewan, God, they would kill to have like big businesses to support their teams or whatever. But I don't see that happening. I heard that some of them are moving from Calgary based on the possibility of Alberta seceding from Canada. But I mean, still, it's not.
It's crazy because Saskatchewan got they got the best diehard fans, and not only that, they got the best stadium in the CFL, and that's like, I wish, like, maybe because Saskatchewan have nothing else to do in Regina, but there's, like, I wish they have fans like that in each of these cities. And then don't get me wrong, Hamilton and Calgary and even the diehard Toronto guys in Montreal, they show up, but nothing like Saskatchewan Rough Riders. It reminds me a lot of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Saskatchewan and Winnipeg are probably the two top ones, but I mean, Saskatchewan, just listening to their broadcast, it reminds me of like listening to the Packers, because it's like other cities you hear, like, they'll have like either like national chains, or they'll have like Canadian Tire, or they'll have like big financial companies. I mean, just listening to their radios, like their local radio. Saskatchewan, God bless them, yeah, they do have like Ford and stuff like that, but I am not kidding, dude. It was like half of their commercials were for farm-related stuff, either like tractor repair or pesticides, or I mean, it's like you're advertising. You know, it's kind of like, I mean, it's almost like we were talking on the air about Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's almost like they have their own football team. You know, it was kind of weird.
And it's crazy, like, when Saskatchewan, this is like the tale of two cities here, like, when Saskatchewan won the Grey Cup, everybody, they closed down the city of Regina, they had riots, they literally had riots of the Grey Cup winning it, and they really act like that's like their NFL team, but like you go to the Catch-22, you go to Toronto when the Argonauts win the Grey Cup. There ain't no celebration, ain't nothing, and all they did is just show them walking in a Maple Leafs game with the trophy, and that's it. You know, like, who are they? You know, you know.
Oh yeah, I know. It's kind of like almost like you kind of like fart at it, but I mean, I saw like a clip of the movie that John Candy's son did about John Candy called "I Like Me," where they showed clips of like when they won the Grey Cup back then. They had like a big parade. You see like Doug Flutie and convertible waving to people and John Candy and stuff. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like Toronto. They're kind of like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's like I think you mentioned something the other day when they were talking about they were more excited about the AHL affiliate of the Maple Leafs winning a championship than they were about the Argos, who've been winning them. And it's like, they had like, I don't know, people partying and all this other stuff, and I guess they kind of figure that all those guys will be called up to the Maple Leafs and then hopefully win them a cup in their first cup in like 60, 70 years, whatever it's been. But, man.
I remember one time, I don't know what day it is, like this year. I remember like something big. I think it was maybe like the first week of CFL. Yeah, TSN got their little section to it, but usually, like you have Toronto is a Toronto-based network, TSN, I think. Usually say, all right, big game, Toronto playing blah 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 blah. Instead, they talk about the Buffalo Bills. Highmark Stadium is finally open. Like, where's the priorities on the Argonauts? And I feel like the bottom thing. And I also believe that I know it's the World Cup, and I feel like the fans will come back after next week. Some fans, but I just really. I think TSN having these games on TSN 3, TSN 5, TSN 4, it's not. I don't think that's ideal. And I just like put it on TSN 1. Like, what else you got to show? You know, Canada's out, America's out, the World Cup. Just show the show the CFL. You
Right.
know? So that's what it is. You know. So great question, Greg.
Yeah, definitely. And folks, like I said, if you have any other questions, either leave comments on our videos or do so on the YouTube channel. But I also want to point out, though, too, Phil, a programming note. I had mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but this weekend I actually got off my lazy butt and did something about it. Been adding more smaller clips called news bits, and I actually put them in a new playlist so you guys can check them out. I isolated some topics that you and I had pinned down, and so folks can listen. You know, I had like I think the last video I did was only like, I don't know, like 15 minutes or so, but it was like, it concentrated on specific topics that maybe if you don't have time to listen to the whole episode, you can listen to part of this, you know, so it's...
Yeah, and I like that a lot, so don't get me wrong, we love y'all to listen 2 hours us talking about the great game, but, you know, couple 15 minutes, couple 20 minutes there, you know, the topics that really talk about the CFL, so...
And what I might even do, Phil, if we get questions and they're about things we already talked about, and I have them on a news bits, I'm going to just send a link. It's like, all right, well, thank you for your question. Hope tune into this clip here. Maybe this will answer it for you. So, you know, we'll do a little bit of that too.
Yeah, and also this, anyone want to shout out to us? Like, just please send a comment too. We'll say your name and we'll say where you're from, what you like, anything you want to say. We'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because we want this to be the podcast of the Facebook group, and we want everybody who follows us there and watches it or watches and listens to us here to be involved, and you know.
Yeah, and it's like we say, we're just a passionate fan of football, and we like the CFL, and we want CFL in the United States to be an avenue. No, we're not trying to want to Americanize the game. We do not want teams in America. We just love the product, and we just want to talk about it, and we just want to talk about not only just people, the fans in the United States, or the people in Canada, the people who don't even watch CFL. We just want them to say, hey, there's another avenue of football, so check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I found interesting, though, while doing this, Phil, even though the Facebook group, you said we had about 7,800 followers, I think majority of them are from the United States. We got some from Canada. Majority of our audience on the YouTube channel are Canadians. We get like a small percentage from the United States, oddly enough. So Canada, thank you. We don't, and we've said this a few times, we don't want to step on your toes or anything, okay? If you're supporting us, thank you so much. And Americans and anywhere else in the world, if you're listening, thank you as well. But, you know, so we want to pay respect to the sport and the league and the teams, and we want to treat this serious, and, you know, even though we do joke around and stray off the topic sometimes, we do enjoy this, and we enjoy doing this show. So
yeah, and every content we do it all love, and we do it all seriously. And that's even not only just this podcast and stuff I do on the Facebook stuff, and all the people who send content on the Facebook thing. My wife, she take it seriously, and shout out to her that, and also shout out to people who go to these games and they post it on our page, and that's amazing stuff. Like I did not expect this 10 years. I did not expect this in 2011. I did not expect this to get big like this, and it just warmed my soul about this. So, and I love doing this. And I remember we had a Dave and Buster party. We had a CFL party in Pittsburgh in the middle of NFL season. That's incredible. And we're gonna do it again So you better believe it.
All right, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
look forward to it for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, well, Phil, before we get to review last week, there was a lot of moving and shaking in the league as far as teams acquiring new people. I'm going to try to find some of these little links.
Especially the Argonaut stuff.
Yeah, that is some crazy stuff there. But we'll start with the Argos. The first of all, they acquired a new punter, which kind of scratched my head a little bit. I'm thinking after watching the last game, okay, yeah, maybe they do need help in special teams, but I'm not sure they needed to go that direction. But they traded with the Red Blacks, and the Red Blacks got like an 8th round pick for next season or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of that news?
I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know what the punter thing like that. I think Ottawa's trying to load up as many picks they can get. I just think this punter here, maybe he's legit, maybe he's not. I don't know anything about it. I need to look into it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of peculiar because even a punter is a big deal in CFL. I really don't know what the deal with that is. So
Yeah.
good luck to him. So,
Yeah. Apparently, the punter's name is James Burnett, and the Red Blacks wound up getting a conditional 8th round pick for 2027. So that was a weird move there.
You think the Red Blacks is trying to stockpile some draft picks, and I'm not saying that this team is bad or anything like that. You think they're just going to load up the drafts with some players? You think?
It's a possibility, and honestly, Phil, I don't know how the draft structure works with the CFL. You may be more familiar with that, but yeah, the way their season's going right now, I wouldn't rule that out for sure.
Yeah. The problem with the draft thing, and this is not just Ottawa, this is the whole CFL as a whole. They draft guys like basketball. They draft them from colleges, from states, and they're hoping they're gonna go to the CFL instead of NFL training camp. And majority of these teams they draft, they go to the NFL training camp to see their option. Because, unfortunately, practice squad guys make more than a CFL player.
Right.
And that's what it is. So it's like a shot in the dark. Like, say, for example, I think Ottawa got these couple of guys, like the 6th or 7th round, and no one didn't want to touch them because they know they ain't going to make it they ain't going to go to the CFL, they're going to go to the NFL, but they just pick the picks just to have rights, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, say, for example, Saskatchewan got the rights of Chase Brown for the Cincinnati Bengals, and we all know Cincinnati, he ain't gonna go to the CFL anytime soon. He's an all-star running back, but
no,
they have rights of certain Canadians, so
right.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's a good possibility, but again, that's the thing unfortunately, with the CFL and like the UFL and the arena leagues, it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to keep players from year to year because a lot of them are trying to work up, unfortunately, to go to the NFL. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I know we all would clamor for 10 teams, but we can get guys to play 10 teams, but 11 and 12 is hard to get 53 more guys,
right.
That's the thing, and that's where it is. I also see Toronto, they picked up on a negotiable list, and someone help me out what this is. They picked up Denzel Mims from the New York Jets. I think he was a good player for the Jets. I think he had like 400 yards last year or something like that. I don't know what the negotiable list is. I don't know when he's going to play this year or they signed for his rights. But
yeah,
if he played for the Toronto Argonauts, watch out. That's another tool for Kelly. So who knows?
And they also signed another potential tool for him. Looks like they signed a offensive lineman, Frank. Oh my goodness, this name. It begins with a V and ends with a Denhill. I don't know. I'm not going to destroy this man's name, but I don't know. Any help Kelly can get with the line, that'll help him too. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. And speaking of Kelly, he has something to say about it. Lay it on me.
So I happened to glance at an article from 3Down Nation where basically Chad Kelly and a lot of the players from the Argonauts are upset about this arrangement they have this season where they have to play their several games home away from home. And I'm not going to go through the article, but basically Kelly said, look, a lot of players are upset. They still practice, quote, in the greater Toronto area at that university, I think it's called Pearl. Well, anyway, many of the players live they live in the Toronto area, but they have to drive an hour or two just to go to practice, and then they have to commute to all of these games, and a lot of them on the West Coast. And Kelly even said, fortunately, Hamilton's not that far away but it's a lot closer than say Saskatchewan where they were, or to Winnipeg where they were at earlier in the season. And I don't know, they also asked the head coach, and the head coach was kind of downplaying and said, okay, well, look, the guys knew this was going to happen. This is just a challenge, it's a setback, it's adversity, it's a team bonding moment, all this stuff. Meanwhile, the players are like, man, screw that. Because BMO, I did not know this, Phil, but obviously it's their home field, but it's also where their offices and their practice field is. So they've had to move everything to that college, an hour away from Toronto. So it's like the team higher-ups are all out there too. So that team's basically been homeless by the World Cup, and
and it's my 5 cents. I'm a Ticats fan, and I have my gripes with Argonauts, but I don't hate them. But the fact they had to, I understand it's the World Cup, and I know World Cup is a lot of revenue for each of these countries, and I get that. But sitting there and have to go to a road game for the next 2 months, it's insane. You tell me they can't find a high school, they can't find a college, except the Argonauts. And the problem, I have a big problem, and yes, I'm ranting, guys. I just think, what's the ownership doing? What are we doing? You made this big song and dance about you are partnering with the Buffalo Bills. You are partnering with half of these corporations in Toronto. You tell me you don't have no avenue to have a temporary home for your team. At least BC had a temporary home.
Right.
You tell me you can't go to Waterloo, you can't go to Masconnell, you can't go anywhere outside Toronto. Play the high school stadium. You ain't gonna sell out. It's just that's what it is. You got all these corporations back in this team, and they don't want to do anything. They just want to say it's all cool to put their name into it, but they don't want to. They don't want to help out the team. They don't want to help out the money.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that the ownership is doing. They're pocketing off of these road games. They get a percentage off of the gate. I mean, they were probably tickled pink with the Winnipeg game because Winnipeg, they're kind of like the St. Louis Battlehawks of the CFL. They always brag about them being the best in attendance and that they're carrying the league with their attendance. So that game, the Argos probably got a good chunk of change from that. So, which is great.
And I'm shocked they're 2-3, and I'm shocked they competed in almost every game. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, it's just okay, they're winning. That's good news for the Argonauts fans, but that's bad news for for money wise because they say, oh, we don't need BMO. But see, we survive without it. You know,
Right.
what are we doing? Like, I guarantee there's a lot of diehard Argonauts fans will go to a game an hour away instead of watching a game, which you have to be part you can't get on TSN, or you have to pay streaming service to get the game to watch it. So, like, I just think it's bad PR. I think it's bad ownership, and I feel like they did not use their resource whatsoever. Like, hell, put the games in Halifax. 3 games in Halifax. I guarantee you make more money doing that than going all the road games. There's, what else? Like you say, I know they don't like Buffalo. I know people say, oh, it's America soil, blah, blah, blah. Had the game at University of Buffalo. No one's there.
No.
So, have the game in Niagara Falls. I know there's colleges in Niagara Falls. I know there's high schools in Niagara. I know they got high schools everywhere. It's like big size.
Tell you what, no disrespect to your Tiger Cats, but if they would have had a game down at Niagara College, I probably would have bought tickets to that so I could stay at Niagara Falls a little longer. But
yeah. Or even talk to Hamilton and say, hey, have your home games there. You know, like,
right.
Like, hey, how much you wanna do? Let's have the Toronto Argonauts play there. It's so many. I know a lot of Argonauts fans won't like that, but still, it's better than playing at Winnipeg twice, or at Saskatchewan twice, or at Calgary twice. You know?
That's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts, and I feel like I feel like BC weathered the storm with that. I think BC made more money than the average year.
And like I said in a previous episode, Phil, I think BC should continue to have games, or maybe do like they did this year, like on Canada Day weekend, have like a special event there, and it's just I think people will go to it. People. It might. Yeah.
I got a question for you. Is Kelowna considered BC?
I think it is I think it is actually in that province. Yeah.
Now I throw this out to you. Will you be? I'm not saying this because if people ever go to the BC Lions game, the pregame setup is amazing. Just to let you know, but. Could you ever see down in the future them move to Kelowna and still be the BC Lions?
Oh, they could. They could.
Yeah.
And it would still be within, because it's kind of like, it's not like they're called the Vancouver Lions and moving, kind of like what the Bears are talking about doing to Indiana. I mean, they're still within that province. I mean, it's like if the Steelers weren't from Pittsburgh, they called themselves Pennsylvania, and they moved from Pittsburgh to, I don't know, Erie or somewhere. I don't, they would still be the Pennsylvania Steelers. But I don't know, or
even you remember a couple years ago? Actually, it was more like 10 years ago. You remember they used to play at the old stadium, because they was doing renovation at the BC Place. You remember they had games out there? I forgot what I'm trying to think what the stadium was called. I'm trying to. Oh my God, that's gonna bother me. You remember they had an outdoor stadium, like in 2010?
Not offhand. No, I don't think.
And the reason why they did that because it was I'm trying to think. The reason why they did that because it was renovating and it was the Olympics. The Beast. I'm trying to think where they play outdoors, and it's like their old stadium there. So, and the stadium's still there, and it still holds like 15,000, 20,000 seats. They can do that. I'm not saying move the BC place, but Montreal did it. Yeah. That's why y'all do it.
Well, I'm curious about when I do go up to Ontario this fall, the concert venue, I mentioned this before, the concert venue where Kim and I are going to see AC/DC, they hold 55,000 people. Now, granted, I don't know how many of them are floor seats, and I don't know how big the floor is, if it's big enough for CFL. I mean, it's like, yeah, you could have maybe 20,000 or so at Scotiabank Arena, but I don't think the CFL could have a game over the Maple Leafs ice. You know what I mean? I don't know how big the floor area is. I don't know if they could do something like that. And when I read on their website, like I said, they said it's a temporary venue. So I don't know if they're planning on building something bigger there or not. They could, because they have a casino next to it. So I don't know.
And I feel like that's where it's gonna go. Like, this is not even just like Canada, but America. Usually, all these new stadiums, even like arenas, is next to casinos. And maybe a casino might say, "Hey, let's build a brand new stadium for the Toronto Argonauts."
Well, yeah, a lot of places like, well, when I go to the Benders games, you walk past Nationals Park for that. They have a MGM Sportsbook right in the back of the stadium. And, I think they were talking about doing that with Camden Yards, converting their bar into that. But a lot of these teams, they'll do that. It'll be kind of like, I don't know, a mini franchise of like another casino there. Because I think the one at Nationals Park is part of MGM Grand, and they have a big MGM Grand casino kind of like in this area called National Harbor, which is kind of like on the border of Maryland and Virginia, but in the D.C. suburbs. But,
yeah, definitely. And I feel like it's not just Toronto. There's a couple of teams like need renovation in their stadiums. They need new stadiums. They need everything. Like we're talking about Calgary coming up. Calgary, and we're talking about the lack of renovation in McMahon Stadium. And I talked to people who went to McMahon Stadium. They loved the nostalgia feel, but the fact is to say it's nothing more than a high school stadium. And like that's the sadness about these kind of stadiums, because that's why people seem like no one go to these games, because one is they'd have a beef with the team, and two, the lack of revenue in this team, and the lack of revenue of the people going to the games.
Yeah, and BMO is a nice stadium. I only sat in the cheap seats, but I mean, they do. Seems like a modern stadium. It seems like they do have like club level seats and things of that nature. So they may have some more amenities that I just didn't take advantage of when I went there. I was just looking for cheap end zone seats or whatever. But and
it's crazy because I think TSN do a hard TSN did a disservice about fans don't go to the game. Like, I just think a lot of those Toronto games is either like 4 o'clock on a Saturday or 1 o'clock on a Saturday, and nobody want to sit in the sun or the heat in that other side. And they don't show the hard camera that much. You know that in shades, almost everyone is sitting on the shade side.
Right. It seemed like it was that when I went in September. And the weather was perfect. It was like 75 and sunny. It seemed like it was that like every day we were up there. But it was like I could see that though. It seemed like they were more like like you said, on the hard cam side, where it's like the other side you could see they have a logo on the seats, folks, if you're not familiar with BMO, for their MLS team, where I think it's either like red with like a white maple leaf or the other way around, but there were enough empty seats where you could see that maple leaf on the sideline seats. Yeah, it was.
And also, like, I think did a lot of disservice, like Edmonton. Like, if I seen pictures of people who went to that game, and I don't know, the problem with that is that they're still having 20,000 people go to those games. But the fact is, they're in a 60,000 seat stadium. 20,000 seat stadium, 20,000 people and 60,000 people sporadically don't look good.
No, it doesn't.
And yeah, Edmonton's still making money, and that's the thing. And I don't know what the quote of the CFL, but it seemed like all these is making it barely or not.
Mm-hmm.
And like the only couple teams I see is always sell out is like Winnipeg, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, Ottawa, Montreal, and some of those majority is not really sold out.
No.
You know? But everyone go to the games. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
well, yeah, it's a shame about that, but
yeah, but,
hopefully things will turn around for them in August when, because that's another thing. It's like not only okay they couldn't play there because of the games, but now they have to tear down all those seats that are in the end zone. It was like 20,000 seats they had to add to it to get the soccer matches there, and now they got to tear them all down, and it's a mess.
And I feel like they can still play the football games now. Hell, I swear, you watch the Ottawa game, they still working on the stuff on the right hand side. You know, like,
right? Yeah, they have like all those cranes and stuff there. So yeah, it's kind of.
So I just think I just think their game plan was poorly decided, and I feel bad for the Argo players. I feel bad for the Argo fans, and I honestly shout out to these Argo fans that go to these road games, and they shelled out, and showed a testament that there is still a pulse in Toronto for the Argonauts. So,
right.
So basically. Yeah, I just think they did a poorly job on it, and that's my opinion on it. They say, look at how much money we made. It's not about that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, other news, Bill, we have some other players going to swapping teams. For example, your Tiger Cats addressed their quarterback situation. They brought in Doug. So it's like now they have 3 quarterbacks. They had... I guess you're still a Trey Ford guy, and because who you guys had playing this past week, I don't know, he did not do the job, and so I don't know, you're gonna go for Trey Ford, or you think eventually you're gonna pet that dog?
I feel Delgado. I'm not gonna bash Delgado. I just think I hate to badmouth the receivers, but they did him a lot of injustice. They made him look bad, and then I hate to say Saskatchewan. No offense to Saskatchewan, the defense is top notch. It was. If I hate to say it like this, I watched this game. If Hamilton would have made half of those balls, I think they would have won that game.
Right.
And everyone say, "Oh, they lost 38-7." If you watch the game entirely, they was in this game until the middle of the fourth quarter.
And a lot of those points, Bill, were off of turnovers too. I mean, I think there were a couple pick sixes, and then there was one that was almost a pick six that Saskatchewan scored. But we'll get into that with the games. But yeah, it was.
I think it was a very abysmal game for the offense that day, and it made him look bad. And I'll give Delgado, Mr. 6'7" himself another chance, but it's the receivers that gotta play better, and that's what happened.
Speaking of receivers, there was some news out after our last recording about DeAndre Smith getting a renewal. Bill, you said you watched a very candid interview that DeAndre gave after the last game, and you tweeted to him, or actually you responded to him on Instagram, and he wrote you back. So congrats on that, man.
Oh, thank you. It was like I was at work, and that's the reason why I was watching these games with delay because I work overnights and all and whatnot. He stayed passionate, like do not dog Dogalo. Do not dog our quarterback. He busts his ass every day and stuff like that. And that's a problem with celebrities and athletes. Not too many people. It's about accountability. and I feel like that's a testament of this team and a testament of the man as a man. I'm not being a homer about it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that brutal honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to tweet it back at him. I had to text him back and say, hey, I know that stuff happens, blah 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 blah. I know y'all gonna come back better than ever, and I know y'all gonna kick ass this week. And he sent me a heart and he said much luck. As simple as that. And it took him. A lot of people don't even look at these tweets, but the man just get out of the time after having one of the worst performances of the season for them, and that time talk to the fans and say, hey, thank you for looking it out for us. And I appreciate that. And I know the fact that just because of that interview, even if he didn't respond, that interview tell me this team is not done yet. This team is going to do everything possible. Bo Levi or not, they're gonna play their game. They gotta find a way. They gotta find an identity first, and I feel like their leader's gonna will them to victory. That's what I believe, and that's what I feel. And I just really, it really amazed me how that accountability, because usually you don't see that in sports. You see is always coach and fall is not me.
Right.
It's a rarity. So I appreciate that.
Good. All right. Well, definitely. Wish him luck this weekend, even though he's going against my Argos. But we'll get to that later. All right. So before we get to our picks, are there any news stories that caught your eye?
Well, there's two news I heard. I heard a Bo Levi report. Bo Levi have a they put him on a 6-game injury report, and maybe this is not definite. So a couple people will talk feel like, oh, he's only gonna be out for 6 games, but it's looking like he got an ankle sprain. He might be out 6 or. It might be a 6 to 8 weeks injury, so who knows? He might come back by the end of this year. So
right.
So I don't know, but that's what it's saying. There's a lot of hopeful people, but he only got a 6-game. He only got a 6-game injury reserve list. So who knows after 6 games? So we'll find out.
No kidding.
Also, we also got another guy who made it to the CFL Hall of Fame, old Charleston Hughes. Charleston Hughes. He played for Calgary. He played for Hamilton Tiger Cats. He played for Saskatchewan Roughrider, and he played for the Argonauts. This guy, and I remember this guy. This guy's an animal. This guy is a beast. And let me look up his accolades right here. Look, I'm reading it right now. This guy had 2 Grey Cup championships in 2008 and 2014. This guy was a 8-time CFL All-Star from 2010 to 2019. 5-time CFL sack leader from 2013, 2016, 2017, 18, 19, so on and so on. And 2016, he was 1 sack away for breaking the CFL record of most sacks in a year. He played 202 games, defense tackles, he had 526. He had over 136 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 33 forced fumbles. And that sounds like a all-star Hall of Fame defense guy to me. So congratulations, Charleston Hughes, for making the CFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, congrats indeed. That's yet another great addition to the Hall for sure.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see it in Hamilton, man. Hopefully to get their own Hall of Fame bus,
Right, yeah.
So that's all the news I had this week, and I'm trying to look at any more. We got the Player of the Week's awards. Justin Justin Rankin and Tyson Philpott was the guys that won Player Weeks, and rightfully so, because Tyson Philpott is doing a historic season. He's on pace for 2,100 yards this season. And Justin Rankin is on pace to have over 1,900 yards rushing and 27 yards total offense. So the MOP, I feel like right now, knock on wood, of injuries, is a two-man race. You know, so
right.
Shout out to them. They're kicking ass this year.
Definitely. And and Philpott, I mean, what's great about him is there are other weapons on the Alouettes. I mean, they also have Snead out there as well. So it's like basically pick your poison. Who do you cover out of those two?
Yeah. And the sad thing is, I think Philpott, I think Rankin, I think the other Philpott, I think they're going to be NFL. I think next year they're going to be NFL players. Personally, I know Philpott been in the CFL for years, but I think the Philpott brothers will, like hell, it's still a shot in both of them. I think you can forget about the guys they have now, and then they'll make the team. So
right.
So I just think these guys are so good, and I think they get flowers. So
oh yeah, definitely.
Congratulations.
And I'm going to shout out to another Philpott, Mama Philpott. I'm skipping ahead, to the Calgary and Montreal game a little bit. But did you see her in the stand? I think she wore like a Calgary hat and a Calgary jersey, but part of the jersey had like, I don't know, part of a Alouettes jersey on it too. So she was like there to cheer on both her boys. So good for her.
Yeah, it was amazing. I had that in my highlight videos right there. Like, it was crazy. The mama supporting both of those guys, and they both ball out. So yeah, so happy for Mama Philpott. Her boys is pretty good, really good.
Cool. All right, well let's get into week 6. How we did on these picks here. The first game we had, it was Ottawa at Edmonton. Rankin, as you mentioned, had a monster game. Phil, I'm going to change my mind about something I said last episode. You would ask me if I thought you thought West Division team was going to carry over to the East, or East was going to carry over to the West. I said I thought the East might have a team carry over to the West. I am changing that, at least after this week. Next week, I can change my mind again, but it looks like it's just too tough for the Western Division. I mean, they have an advantage anyway where they have 5 teams to 4, so... yeah, but
it's just crazy how Edmonton is that good this year. And even though I say my bold prediction, I say, yeah, Edmonton will make the playoffs and stuff like that. But I didn't expect them to be that good. And the defense was... And Ottawa hang in there for, like always. They always hang in there, but once they open the gap to this team, it's just like as it was all over. Like Rankin is just playing out of his mind. Like Austin Mack, he looked like the Austin Mack of old. Even Brandon O'Leary Orange, he's handling business. Even though he had one catch, but it was a 90-yard catch. Cody Fajaro, look, he know how to manage the game. Like, he was 19 to 24, 340 yards. And not only Justin Rankin is good, you got the backup running back, too, Javon Leaks. You remember him for the Argonauts?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And this team get it. And I just love how it is. How about the rookie, Daniel DeJambe? He has 7 tackles, Joel DeBlanco, I think Joel DeBlanco might be Defense Player of the Year. I just think this team is doing Tyrell Ford, maybe another Defense Player of the Year or two. This is his 2nd interception. Actually, this is his 3rd interception this year. And this team is good. This defense is insane. Cordell Jackson, Kobe Williams, like this team. It's like everyone darling, everyone love Edmonton. I wish Edmonton fans keep on going to more games, please. This team is good.
I couldn't agree more on that, Bill. In fact, it's one of the news bits I'm going to probably put out later on about. We did the story about how the Edmonton owner blaming the lack of attendance because they changed to the Elks from their other name, but they are a good team. Bill, if they would have played like this last year, I probably would have driven to Toronto to see them, not the Argos, okay? But it's like, all right, Edmonton, okay, I'm calling you guys out. I'm from Baltimore. I drove 10 hours to Toronto to see your team last year. You guys got to go out and support them. That's all there is to it. They're playing too good not to.
How you feel about How you feel about Ottawa? Like, I feel like this team, they're trying everything possible. They got good guys on the team, but for some reason they can't get over that one win hump. Like, you think this team is it bad coaching or is it bad general management? You think this is just maybe they have that losing mentality or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe something chemistry with the players. I mean, coaching, you would think it would not, because even though Dean Whittle had like a bad year last year, he won a couple great cups, and he brought over I think a coordinator from Toronto over to there to try to get some success. I mean, they're closing games, but yeah, they dig themselves into a hole, and I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with them.
I feel like Jake Mayer, maybe just the coaching, maybe like the offensive coordinator. I think they try to make him to play hero ball, and every time he play hero ball, it caused turnover and it caused bad plays. The problem is their two best players on offense. It's not doing anything. Like Greg Bell's not running the ball. He ran 19 yards for the whole game, and this is a guy who was an all-star running back last year, and he can't even break 40 yards. And also, Geno Lewis, maybe it's the age, father time always prevail, but Justin Hardy and Geno Lewis, they should be willing every play. And I'm not bad-mouthing Eberhard because Eberhard is solid. I think Eberhard is going to be an all-star for CFL, but the fact is this team is too good to be getting blown out by, and maybe it's a loss of translation between the coach and players. Well, who knows? Like, I just think this team, they had a chance to win this game, and that's the sad thing. It's just like the fourth quarter and everything just imploded.
Right.
So shout out to Edmonton.
Definitely. So I think on that game we both picked Edmonton to win, so that's a win in win column for each of us.
Yeah, and speaking of Ottawa, I bet they're gonna kick. We're gonna go to the next one. They're gonna kick themselves for this. Winnipeg versus Toronto. Ottawa gave their backup quarterback like a nice suit. They got a nice three-piece suit at the Salvation Army. Drew Brown looked amazing that game, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. He had a great half for sure. And I was curious about that game and how Hamilton would do since they both lost their starters the week before. Now, if I'm a fan of your Tiger Cats, I might have hope because of that. Mainly because it's like they were able to get somebody from on the bench and he balled out. So, I don't know. Shout out to him. Even though the Argos, they did make some second half adjustments. I mean, he just had a monster first half, but two boneheaded plays in the special teams cost the Argos, especially that missed field goal attempt and then having the touchdown run back. That was the dagger right there.
Yeah, and Toronto had a chance to win this game, and Toronto played good in the first half. And not in the first half. Toronto played good in the third quarter and stuff like that. And I just feel like they missed the opportunity. And Fattel fumbled that ball. They had a chance to got a lead or get the momentum. And I forgot his name. His dad. I'm gonna call him Hallelujah. And Hallelujah. He's inconsistent this year. He used to be automatic.
Right.
And it's just like you let that play happen, and Winnipeg got that win because of that. And Winnipeg is that team. They're like the boogeyman. Like, they're not going to try to impress you, but they'll find themselves the way to win the game. Nick Dempsey, he may not be the fastest. The man runs like an offensive lineman, but guess what? He got hands. And he also makes first down. And got Tim White always find a way to get in the end zone. Pokey Wilson is your yak mover. And Oliveira make the best yards. This team look all right. And now they got a quarterback controversy now. Collaris is practicing. They don't know who's going to play, Collaris or Drew Brown. So that's the thing there. That's a good problem. But I don't know who they're going to start next game. But big win by Winnipeg.
Yeah, great win by Winnipeg. Toronto, you also got to be concerned about their defense, though, Phil, because over the last two games they were outscored 88-51. Yeah. I mean, you scored 51 points in two games, that should be good, but allowing 88 points, that's definitely no bueno. So, I mean, I don't know, they got to get that stuff straightened out. Even though
they are in last place in pass and defense. And the average quarterback, and I'm looking at this right now, the average quarterback is 340 yards on this defense. And there's some big names on this defense. They got Pickett, they got Slivka, they got Amos, they got D'Angelo, Kalongo, and these guys was pros and potential stars, but they're not holding their own, and that's a big problem with that.
Right.
Yeah, so
it'll be interesting to see what they do next week. So
it's like that Calgary BC game. It's kind of like that Calgary BC game a couple weeks ago. It's going to be like that for the Hamilton Toronto game this week. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
We'll get to that. Well, as far as pick wise, we were split on that one. You went with Winnipeg, and I went with Toronto, and so it's one in the win column for you. So on that one.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way. That's after this. It'll all go downhill from here.
Yep. The next game was. It looked like it. I thought it was going to be the game of the week coming in, and it did not disappoint. Calgary at Montreal. Alexander the Great still looks great. Philpott, you mentioned before, looked amazing. Snead looked amazing. Teague was running all over the place too. Calgary hung with them, and actually, I mean, I think the score was closer than how the game actually went. I think Calgary got a little bit of garbage time action, but they also got a little chippy at the end too with that roughing the passer.
Yeah. And before we go back there, I forgot the chippiness of Coxie. He got ejected in the game. That was I don't know. That was kind of too ticky-tacky to me. But
I agree. Yeah, I forgot about that too. But yeah, that was.
Yeah, but Calgary did have a chance to win that game, and they tied the game up, and Calgary held their own. And a lot of people say, "Oh, what's wrong with Calgary?" I don't think there's nothing wrong with Calgary. I just think they play a hard-fought game against a really good team. Now, I think the chipney started because a late hit at the end of the game by one of the players, But it's I think Davis Alexander was great once again, but the problem is that right hip. That right hip I think the right hip is going to get him down the road. I'm worried about that.
Right. And I mean, he had his issues last year too, Phil. So it's like, and you saw how Montreal was. I kept saying they were Jekyll and Hyde. It's like without him, they were scuffling. As soon as he came back, they started roaring back and eventually got to the Grey Cup. But
yeah, and it's crazy how Tyson Philpott is playing a season as part of one of the best, on pace of one of the best seasons as a wide receiver in CFL of all time. And also, they blindly, Travis Dees wasn't even supposed to be a starter for this running back, and this guy is killing it in the running game. Like, he scored at least a touchdown a game. And he's averaging altogether, he's averaging like 90 yards a game. And it was supposed to be Stevie Scott's team as a running back, but this team is insane. Like, there's so many weapons to this team. You got a quarterback that know how to get to the ball to Philpott and Snead. Then you got a defense, a nasty defense that no matter what, they're going to shut you down. So this team, like I say, rightfully deserve to be in the top of the East. But Calgary, everyone say there's something wrong with Calgary. I don't think there's something wrong with Calgary. I just think they had a lot of bad luck, and I think Calgary is also one of the dangerous teams in the West.
And I felt like going into this game, and I think you did too, because on the picks we both went with Calgary and lost. I felt like they had some momentum coming into this game, and so.
And what, like, Jalen Philpott, they kind of shut Philpott down, Montreal. Jalen Philpott, not Tyson.
Right.
But the John Brissett, that's your old guy from the Argonauts.
Mm-hmm.
He shelled out with 2 touchdowns and 86 yards.
Right.
But it's Vernon Adams, and everyone talk about Nathan Rourke as the best quarterback in the CFL. I do not think that. I still to this day think Vernon Adams is the best quarterback in the CFL. I just think, I don't know, is the defense or is it the coaching? I just think that's the best quarterback in CFL.
Right.
Yeah, but it was a great game. It was a great game all along. And it was a hell of a who drew that touchdown? Did Snead drew that touchdown? No.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was the little flea flicker, like a Philly special kind of thing. Yeah, Snead threw it, and did you see what he did, Bill? He kind of like jumped. He did like a jump ball and threw it to Philpott. That was sick.
Yeah, he did a Tebow ball. That's what they call it, Tim Tebow style, the jump ball.
Oh yeah.
And that was insane, and it was crazy how Tyson Philpott had to adjust himself to get that ball. That was insane. So this team have no excuse to represent the East. I hate to say it like that. They got the best defense in the East. They got the best offense in the East. Hell, they got the best special teams in the East. This team, I hope Hamilton they realize something, but who knows? But Montreal is on kicking all cylinders, and they're gonna be good. It's gonna be a good team, and they're gonna be there then. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, the only thing I could see stopping Montreal is any future injuries, and I'm not wishing that on them. Don't get me wrong, but that's the only thing I see. I really don't see any other weaknesses on this team. So.
Yeah, and I remember I did the season. I wrote down like a little article of the Montreal West season review.
Right.
I put in one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL, and I almost say NFL. Oh my God, the most dangerous team in the CFL, and I still say that. I still believe on that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, they're playing like it so far, so. All right,
for
then we
sure.
had the final game. Hamilton at the defending Grey Cup champions Saskatchewan Roughriders.
I don't know what to start on it, but I commend the defense. The defense showed up until the half of the fourth quarter. It was honestly, they knew that offense did not mesh in at all, and Saskatchewan knew they had to do a little to win that game, and that's exactly what they did.
Right.
Guys, there's Roundtree to Durr. They shut him down to that. It's quite crazy. Bill Galla, I'm butchering his name, had more rushing yards than Roundtree to Durr.
And you can't have that.
Yeah, you can't have that, and you can't have a 122-yard performance, and they don't know what to do. They gotta figure out, and I think they gotta figure out who's their quarterback.
And I think Lawler's trying, but I think sometimes he's pressing because he had a turnover too. That's what killed Hamilton this week. It wasn't. I mean, you look at the score and you think, oh my God, the defense was lit up. No, late in the game, it was still a low score, and then it just fell apart. I mean, they kept coughing up the ball, and it's like they had a pick six, and then Saskatchewan got another turnover, and they got down to like the 5, almost got another pick six. It was there. I mean, the offense scored more points for Saskatchewan than Saskatchewan actually did for themselves. It was crazy.
Yeah, and pretty much, like how I say, the defense, Trevor Harris didn't look so hot, and I ain't gonna lie to that. They had to will their way. They had to will their way to win that game, and defense and special teams just did their thing. And like Trevor Harris only had 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And Ouellette was pretty much ground pounding the whole game. And a couple good plays by Sheffield Baker and Endless and Keyshawn Johnson, but the rest of that, this team was dead in the water.
Right.
And 38-7, that's a very deceiving score right there, because Hamilton could have made that a little bit closer. And
it's typical of a lot of CFL games, though, Phil, where they'll be closing down to the wire, and then you'll have like one team to break away, late in the game, and that's what happened with Saskatchewan. I mean, it's a good win for them. It's good at home, but you know what?
And Hamilton had, and I hate to say it like this, they had 6 drops to that game. They had 6 drops.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be, and Kenny Lawler and Keandre Smith, and then to this day, I'm not being a homer, I think they're the best 1-2 duo of wide receivers. And you also got Wheatfall and Gideon and Maximilian Meng, my guy.
Yeah.
But it just, with that talent, you have no reason not. It's a shame they did not score a touchdown. They had 1 field goal and 3 rouges.
Yep.
And 4 rouges. I'm sorry. It was a bad look to that. And
I thought it was 2 field goals and a rouge, but still, regardless, you got 7 points, but none of them had touchdowns. Yeah, it's nuts.
And shout out to Keandre Smith to a hell of accountability on that. And I'm not gonna celebrate the thing, but I'm just saying accountability is key. And like I say, the first part to solve a problem is admit your wrongs, and that's the thing.
Right.
And the defense was showing up. The defense, and I hate to say it, the defense, the last 2 games, the defense played their butts off. And like the 2 of the best teams in the West, they only held them like the offense, and I'm not even, that's 2 touchdowns for the defense for Saskatchewan. They only held the offense each game 17 points, and that's two of the best defense, two of the best offense in the West, 2 of the best teams in the West,
Right.
Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. The defense is playing. McManus looked like McManus of old, you know.
Oh yeah, he had a couple of good plays, especially in the third quarter, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. Cassius, the real Greek freak, he had an interception. He was an animal, you know. Jamal Peters, and shout out to Jamal Peters. Jamal Peters had a serious injury a couple weeks ago, and I was so worried about it. He got stretcher off. I didn't think he will come back this season. He came back this game. He's back. He's running around, and it's a good to see that man coming back and play. You know.
I was going to ask about that. I forgot the player's name, but was he the one that had the interception and was hurt during making the play, or am I thinking somebody else?
No, someone else. I think.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who. Yeah, but like I say, Saskatchewan defense, and a lot of people. I gotta give a shout out to the Saskatchewan defense. I was too much talking about my Hamilton Tiger Cats, but Josh Woods, and I heard the people up in Saskatchewan, they wasn't a big fan of Josh Woods because he didn't show up, and like pretty much said the whole town was ragging him on. He ran almost a 99-yard touchdown, and I feel like that shut up the naysayers of that. And Jameer Darman, he's a tackling machine. This team, even though the last 2 wins it wasn't pretty, this team found a way to win. They're playing like Winnipeg style football, and that's what it is. I can't wait when they play Winnipeg. That's gonna be a battle.
All right.
Like always.
Well, like you said, some teams, they just find a way to win. I think Jesse Ventura said it's better to be lucky than good, you know, and I'm not saying that Saskatchewan was lucky, but yeah, they gutted it out. I think that's one reason why, like, so many NFL fans hated the New England Patriots. Not only did they win Super Bowls, but it looked like playing times, it looked like they could have lost. Tom Brady reminded me so much of like Ric Flair when he was like a champion, and it's like he'd be getting his ass beat the whole time, but then he'd get like some one call on his side, and then they would win. So I don't know, but shout out to
it's like the teams that like, okay, all this team is 13-3, and all you see them is they lose. They beat this team 13-10, 17-13, all that stuff. Like, because they find themselves the way to win. They found themselves to make themselves play in January every year, and it's kind of like the CFL. Good teams find a way to win.
No doubt. Well, on this matchup, pick wise, we were split. You went with your heart with Hamilton, much as I did with Toronto in the game against Winnipeg. And I went with Saskatchewan, and I got the pick for that. So what that does with us now, Phil, for the week, we each finished at 2-2. And prior to that, going into this week, we were both tied at 10-8. So since we were tied this week, we're tied again. We're at 12-10 apiece now. So
it's crazy, you know. Like I had my picks with my wife. I'm 1 point ahead. So, like I said, we got the 1 quarter of the season. So anything happen, right?
Brandy, get ready. I'm calling you when I'm at that casino in Toronto in September. I'm going to do a sports book before the AC/DC concert. All right, just letting you know.
You better believe it. You know.
All right.
Oh man, I can't wait. And then we can't wait for that. It'll be fun.
All right. Well, what else looks like it's going to be fun is Week 7. Let's get into that. We have this dude. This is like if this was NFL, these would be like, I don't know, 3 or 4 Sunday night football games back to back to back. I mean, you have rivalries, you have just exciting teams against each other. You have a rematch from the week before. Good gravy. So let's start with Friday night. We got BC at Edmonton. I caught that. I'm just on the CFL schedule, but I didn't see what channels these games are going to be on. And help me out with that, if you would, please.
I got you on that. And it's going to be on 9 o'clock. It'll be on TSN and RDS2 in Canada and CFL Plus in the States. So check this game out, please.
All right. Well, who do you have in this one?
This is a rematch game in Edmonton to BC. Edmonton, they got humbled to BC 2 weeks ago at Kelowna. Edmonton need to get that win back. BC need to keep on winning. It's still a battle, and this is still going to be a good game. BC got to keep on winning, but something about Edmonton. Edmonton is that team, and I think it's going to be a very good game because BC's desperate, and Edmonton's just going to hold their own. Edmonton had to win this game. I gotta say Edmonton in a very close game. I'm thinking overtime in this game because Edmonton will want that win back against BC. So I'm going to go Edmonton.
Okay. I think I'm going to go with you on that as well. BC, but BC can rack up the points for sure. And I don't know, it seemed like after that win in Kelowna, they had a little bit of momentum going. But yeah, Edmonton, they had, I don't know, does the CFL have an award for like most improved team? If they did, I think Edmonton should get it this year for sure, man. So
they got most improved player, but I think the coach of Edmonton should be coach of the year by far. So.
I couldn't agree more. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Elks on this one as well too. So
yeah, that's gonna be a good one right there, and it's going to be bad. Please watch that game. It's going to be a good game. So check it out.
And if you live in Edmonton, go to the damn game. Come on.
Yeah, please go to the damn game, please. And BC, if you feel like you want to go to a road trip game, please show out too. So come on, fill up the Commonwealth, please.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Then we got a rematch from last week, which was probably, you could argue, that was the game of the week last week. We have Montreal this time. They're going to Calgary against the Stamps. All right, Phil, what do you think of this one?
I think this is going to be another game of the week here, and it's going to be on 4 o'clock. Part one of the doubleheader. Doubleheader TSN in Canada, RDS. But one of the doubleheaders, you can watch it on cable on CBS Sports Network in the States. But this game right here is at Calgary, Montreal. They're on high. They're high end. Calgary is still high octane offense. I just think Calgary's going to win this game because I just think Calgary had a couple mistakes. They would have won this game. So I think Calgary's going to win this game, and every game they play is close. So it's going to be a good game. I think Calgary's going to win. I think they might win like 10 or 13. You know,
interesting. They rack up the points for sure. I think. It's Calgary. I think, are they the highest scoring team right now, Bill? Or I think they were.
They are.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Far, they're averaging 38 points a game. Yeah, amazing. You know, I think the key to that game is you got to find Dietrich Mills the ball, running the ball. And maybe the confines at home, he might run a little better, but I feel like Mills was underused of that game. So who knows? You know, I think this is going to be the highest scoring game, and I think Calgary's going to do it.
All right. Well, I can see this game going either way. I kind of feel as far as Calgary wanting the game back. They're at home. They've been racking up points. But you know what? So been the Alouettes. I don't know. I have a gut feeling about this, and plus I want to break this tie in our own picks, Bill. I'm going to go with Montreal this week. So, go with the Birdman of Molson. There you go.
Well, the Birdman, I love it,
Yeah. Or there's one guy in our group who's from Baltimore. I got to find his name. And if you're hearing this, please comment in the video or in the group. There's a guy from Baltimore who followed the Stallions. He calls since they moved to Montreal, he calls them the Stallouettes. So,
Yeah, and I feel like Baltimore will love the Montreal team, after the movement and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah. I still miss it, but
yeah.
Then we have, as you said, the second game of the doubleheader. All right.
There we go. Yeah, and this is. We know we are. It's funny. We're like the best of friends, but each of our teams is pure rivalry.
Yeah.
Even NFL and CFL. So.
Right.
It's the Hamilton Tiger Cats versus the Toronto Argonauts at their home game at Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah. In theory only, they'll have like the Rocky.ca in the end zones like they did at Saskatchewan last week, but come on.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be a Hamilton Parson crowd,
Yeah. Although they might get some good representation from Toronto, they're only 60 miles apart, so
Yeah, definitely. And once again, this game is on TSN, but in the States, you can put it on CFL Plus. So I ask my Ticat fans in the States or the Ticat fans anywhere not in Canada, or Argo fans, put it on CFL Plus on your tablets or your phone, your computer, and all the time. We need to watch this game.
Oh yeah, so, no doubt.
This game right here is I don't want to say make and break, but this game it could go it go at crossroads in this. One can go up, one can go down. Hamilton, they try to find their quarterback, but they got a team around it. Toronto, they got a good offense. They got good offense, but their defense have no identity. These teams are both 2 and 3, and they both believe they can still have a chance in the East. So I'm getting fired up right now saying it. You got 2 teams that are pissed off of what happened last week, and now they're going to play each other. It's going to be an all-out war, However, we still don't know who our quarterback is. Our running game is bad. Our wide receivers dropping the balls. Guys missing field goals. But it's the rivalry. He drove the names in the back. He drove the records in the back. A battle is a battle. A war is a war. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go to Hamilton over Toronto. Yeah, you know that?
All right.
And that's what I'm saying. And I hear Brandy over there and saying, "Hey, Brandy, go Tiger Cats."
No, go Argos.
You hear her?
And I'm in your camp, Brandy. Go Argos. And here's the thing with this game. You alluded to it. You have one team who can score but can't stop anybody. You have another team that has good defense but can't score. It reminds me of a meme that I saw years ago. It was a science fiction meme where it had who would win between the red shirts of Star Trek and the stormtroopers of Star Wars. Where it's like the stormtroopers can't keep shooting at people and missing, and the red shirts would die from, I don't know, like a foul in the World Cup, just flop and die right there and there. So it's kind of like, it's the opposite of irresistible force and immovable object. It's can score and not defend versus can't score and can defend. So, in light of that, though, I'm going with my Argos. And Bill, we discussed this off the air. We're going to do a little side bet on this show. Every time that Toronto faces Hamilton, we're going to do this. Whichever of our teams win, regardless of who we pick in these picks, the winning team gets their theme song played on next week's episode. So,
Oh yeah.
so if your Tiger Cats win, you send me a YouTube video of which song to use, because I saw they had like 2 or 3 fight songs or whatever. When my Argonauts do win, I will play that next week. So, but just throwing that out there. So, just a little more incentive.
I have to sit there and listen if they win. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Scouts just do it once. I'm not going to do it like they do at BMO whenever they score a touchdown. I think I saw some guy comment, I forget who his team was, but he said he hated it because they were getting blown out and he heard that Argo's fight song like, I don't know, 8 times or whatever. So, I'm not going to do that to you, but...
It's like I had to do the video with Randy. If the Argonauts win, I had to wear a Argonaut jersey. So
oh my!
I need and thank you for the reassurance, Keandre Smith, that night, because I was feeling a little down and out. I was wanting to know what happened. I watch it, and then he say, hey, and in my mind, I know I'm paraphrasing, hey, trust us. And exactly where I am. I'm going to trust y'all. I still believe they're going to make it to the Grey Cup. They just need to find their quarterback, and maybe, just maybe, Bo Levi might come back. Now that's a 1% chance, but anything possible. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all kidding aside, though, Hamilton does have some weapons in offense besides quarterback. So yeah, they have to get them going. They have to bail out whoever they play at quarterback, whether it's Ford or Doug or... yeah. So, anyway, I'm going with Toronto in that matchup. And then finally, we have the Sunday night game. We have Winnipeg going to Ottawa. All right.
And that's 7 o'clock, TSN in Canada and CBS Sports Network in the States. Check it out. I like to dub this game as the Drew Brown revenge game. I think Drew Brown is pissed off that not only he lost his starting spot, he also got traded to Winnipeg. Now, I feel bad for Ottawa. Because I really want Ottawa to win a game. I don't want to see a team be 0-18 or anything like that. I just think Drew Brown is going to be pissed off. And you know what he do? He's going to give them a heavy dose of Brady over there for them. And shut them down, and I think Winnipeg are going to win convincingly.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Ottawa's in every game, but you know what? I can't see myself picking them until they actually win something. You got to prove that they can win one. Just win one for me. See what you can do, Ottawa.
I just think it's a revenge game for Drew Brown. He got traded off, and he got benched by a quarterback. So it wasn't even a competition. He was hurt at that one moment, and they went. And this is what the problem was like. It's kind of like they put their assessment on a scrimmage game, and he did really good in the scrimmage game, and they started him over that. And look where they're at right now. So. I think this offense, they got a good defense, Ottawa. They got a couple of good guys, wide receiver. I just think the wide receiver is a little bit old, and I just think they got no identity. They got no all-line. They got either they're really young or they're really old. So I just think Ottawa's going to get, I hate to say it, Winnipeg's going to give them a belt to ass. So.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, Drew Brown's going to tell Ottawa what they can do with that Salvation Army suit that they gave him, man.
Yeah, and once again, there's going to be, oh man, I had it in my mind. I forgot who's on the bye this week. Is Saskatchewan on the bye? Yeah. Saskatchewan on the bye. Saskatchewan is licking their wounds. They're riding high right now, and they are getting ready for their big game against Edmonton and the day before my birthday. I can't wait for that game.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah, so get ready for that. So I don't know what the plans for my birthday for that day. I might do a live. I might do a Facebook Live on the 24th on that day. Who knows? So
there we go. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, Edmonton. I'm sorry, Saskatchewan's on got an interesting dilemma. Who do they root for between BC and Edmonton, though? Because they're tied in the standings with Edmonton, for first place, and BC's traditional hated rival, I'm sure, but I don't know. I guess they might be pulling for BC this week.
Yeah, and that's the thing. BC, like I say, BC needing to win this game. I want to say this week is desperation week for a lot of teams, but I think the most desperate teams known is Toronto, Hamilton, and BC.
Yes.
These are the three.
Now I got a question for you, Phil, regarding that. It seemed like last week this was just an observation. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those weeks. It might not mean a darn thing, but do you see a point where it seems like some teams are starting to pull away? Because it seemed like there was a lot of parity coming up to week 6, but now it's like you saw last week, like with who was it? With Edmonton pulling away from Ottawa and stuff like that. Do you see like the good teams starting to resurface and the bad teams starting to scuffle, or you think that was just a odd week?
I can see that, but like I say, I've been deceived by teams like that before. Because I throw like an example. A couple of years ago, Ottawa was like 4-2, and then after that, they lost every game.
Wow.
I remember Calgary was the team. I think one time Calgary was 7-2 one time. I forgot which year, and they didn't even make the playoffs. I think it's go by waves, and if the team is all about being healthy and riding the wave.
Right.
And it's like fantasy football. All you have to do is make the playoffs, and anything's possible.
True.
And the crazy thing about the playoff, next year playoffs will be ridiculous, and not in a good way. But the crazy thing about this playoff games is because you can be 13-3, and you can lose by 8-18.
Yep.
And
or worse, right?
Yeah, and it's about, I say, who got the hot hand. I always say this to people who do gambling. I don't gamble at all, but I'll say, take a look who's got the hot hand by the end of the season and put your money on that.
True.
So, like I say, it's too early to say, but who knows?
Yeah, we're at week 7, got 14 more weeks before the postseason, so yeah, we got a long one.
But it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Always is. Always is. All right, well, we had a lot of fun in this episode, as we always do.
Absolutely.
Getting ready to wrap things up. Phil, do you have anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
Like I say, watch these games, please comment, ask a question. We will give you a shout-out on it. We got a lot of good content this week. We got me and my wife's show. We're going to do our picks and stuff. I might do a little hype-up video rivalry game against Hamilton and Toronto. I just got to find a time tomorrow. I don't have to go to – I'm going to take a little nap, and maybe I'll see what I can do with that. Tell your friends about CFL. This is legit, and we're trying to get 10,000. We're going to try to get 10,000 members in our Facebook page, and we're trying to get 100. We're trying to get 100 people subscribe to our podcast, and we're doing good. And this is good stuff going on right now. And and another thing, when I'm rambling, my bad. Make sure whoever goes to the games this weekend or any weekend, make sure you take some pictures, put it on the Facebook page, and tell your story. We love to hear your stories and how your time watching CFL football. And we got a lot of good content in the podcast coming soon. I'm going to try and reach former players, current players. We're going to try and reach these guys and have interviews, because we want you to know everything about this league, and we love this league, and we love people who listen to us, and that's coming for everyone. So,
great.
That's it.
All right, well said, well said. All right, folks, well, listen, we appreciate you talking Canadian football with us again. We will talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.